בסדר ישמעיה, בשם השם נעשה להצליח. Today's sugya that we're going to learn about is about how a person should pray that his prayer gets accepted in Shemayim. So I just give a very quick introduction. There's a book by Rabbi Israel Lugassi Shelita that he talks about the Benot Israel, and this book is very interesting. I would recommend it highly for people to learn it. And he says, how come some people when they pray, when they cry, the prayer doesn't get accepted? So he said because of the people in this scenario, he says that it's because they have women in their household, and the women in the household are not senua. And if they were with senua, and he said over there, even they cry, the prayer doesn't get accepted. So,
even though that it says in Gemara that Share Dim'a
in Alu, which we're going to talk about right now,
hasn't been closed.
Right. So we're gonna see here that even though there's this, you have to have certain for the tefillah to be accepted, you have to have certain preparation for it, right? Otherwise, you just can't go and pray to Hakadosh Baruch Hu and the prayer gets accepted. That's one of it, and I know Baba Sali, Baba Shalom, every time people would come to him for bracha, for Yeshua, he would tell them all the time. He said, look, if you want to do your bracha gets accepted, my bracha gets accepted, you have to do some kind of changes as far as personality, as far as your hanhaga, do some kind of teshuvah. If you do it, my prayer, a blessing, and your blessing, my blessing is going to get accepted.
Wow.
So
it's a Kabbalah.
Yeah, you have to have a Kabbalah. That you have to accept it. Otherwise, that's how the prayer goes. Now, but with understanding that the person should have some kind of preparation, now Zohar gives a formula. Why, what to do, and how to do it, that your personal prayer gets accepted. I was reading last week, I was reading Sefer Tarat Kodesh by Rabbi Aaron Latar, and he brought Makor from Zohar, from this part, Makor, and he was saying if somebody cried very well, talking about crying, then the prayer gets accepted. Now we're going to learn why, so what does the crying do? This is right here that we're going to learn. The Zohar here is going to discuss what kind of effect it does in Shemayim when somebody cries. Okay? So here,
also, if I may mention,
sure.
Harav Netanyahu just said, if we cry during the Tikkun Chasot, and we put the cry, the drops, tears, right, the tears of our cries, and we rub it against our forehead, that will clean the averot that have marked on our foreheads.
Right.
So that's another spiritual power of crying.
Right. And also,
tears.
Also, I know Harav Mordechai Eliyahu, the son, when he was crying, he would the cries for Tikkun Chasot, which we talked about recently, he would cry and the tears would go to a cup. And there was one
he would collect it.
He would collect it. And there was a time somebody came and he wanted very serious Yeshua. He told him, drink that.
Wow.
And he drank it and he got Yeshua.
Wow.
So that
they say by Harav Yehuda Petaya,
yes,
Shalom, that he made Ta'aniyot with his Talmidim, that the Yemach Shemam V'Zichram, the German soldiers Nazi, they should not come to Eretz Israel, and they were by the kever of Rachel Imenu during the month of Tammuz, during the summer, as they were crying, and what they and he cried, he collected his tears, he drank it.
I drank it.
He drank it, and he passed out. He passed out, and he had a vision. He had like some sort of dream that Rachel Imenu came to his dream, and informing that the Gezerah has been nullified. The Gezerah was cancelled out. And at that moment, what happened was that they found out the German soldiers came and they were very thirsty, so they wanted to drink water. They found these new pipes that the Britons made by the south,
by the sea.
By the sea, and so they rushed through those pipes to suck out the water. They sucked out water, and it was salty water.
It wasn't filtered.
It wasn't filtered, and it was salty.
And it was seawater.
Seawater, exactly, seawater. Why there was seawater in those pipes? Apparently, they just made the pipes and they wanted to test them out, and the water in there wasn't filtered. So that caused them, with salty water in their stomach and such a high temperature weather that they weren't used to, they said forget about it. They took that as a bad sign, and they didn't even come to SSR. They just went back.
They resigned. No, they all, what they did was...
They resigned?
Yeah, because...
They stranded, maybe?
No, because when they drank the water, they was very thirsty, made them extreme thirst. And they couldn't stand it, they needed some water, so they all just they gave up, and they threw their guns down, and they stranded to the...
They stranded to Britain.
Britons. And that's how they lost.
Baruch Hashem.
Yeah.
So that's... Wow.
Okay, so here we start. So I'm going to start in the middle of the sugya in the Zohar, but this is where it starts. But I'm not going to say the beginning of it, but basically it says in the beginning that the Kohen Gadol should be always sameach. He has to be always, whenever he does avodat Hashem, he has to be besimcha. Now, it says באינטימה ירחי, אם כן שתפלח העולה לבינה כגון על בני חי ונזון צריכה להיות בשמחה. So it says the same way that the person should be when he prays to Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the tefillah, the simcha, when you pray with simcha, right? Why they say it's so important person to read the simcha, to do tefillah with simcha, because your tefillah doesn't go to malchut, it goes to higher level, which is called bina, right? And then over there, if you daven with the simcha, your tefillah goes up and accepted. Now he's going to talk about Zohar. What happens if a person can't be with simcha, right? He has other problems, and he wants to daven to Hashem. So what does he do? What do we do in case a person, right, in such a stress, he cannot bring a smile on his face, that allow to be sameach? How can he pray b'simcha? Migo dochaka idle limitba lachamim chomim michael idah mitoch dochako yesh lo levakesh lachamim לפני מלך מלכים שהוא הבינה. So he has to do what? No, he's besar. He's really in pain, and he wants to pray to Hakadosh Baruch Hu, so his tefillah gets accepted, right? But what should he do? Should he not daven at all? Why? Because he said that when you want to daven and you pray gets accepted to bina, right? It has to be simcha. And you are not. The person is in distress. A person should not be depressed, right? When he's praying to Hakadosh Baruch Hu, but he cannot be because of his situation. He cannot be, he just can't. That person cannot do it because he's besar gadol. כי בהזכירו הסערות בתפילתו אי אפשר לו להתאפק שלא יצטער. So, when he mentioned in his tefillah that he's praying to Hakadosh Baruch Hu, he's trying to say, I'm in this pain, I'm in that pain, right? When he just remembers that he has so much problems, in the middle of tefillah, then he forgets to be happy. So if he forgets to be happy, right? So how does his tefillah get to bina, right? That's the question, right? That's the question. Right? אם כן, מה תרגונה idle להיברנש? So what should that person do? Because many people, unfortunately, in our generation, they are under stress. Everyone has different everyone has different kind of problems. So if that's the case, so how should he do it in order that his tefillah gets accepted? Because he has to get to Bina in order to be able to tefillah gets accepted. And the only formula is to be Simcha, right? And he cannot be the Simcha. So the Zohar gives a formula what to do in this situation. Okay? מתארת מה אינו ודאי דעותינו. בגלל גמר במסיעה, דף נ"ט עמוד א', כל תרעין ננעלו והסגירו, כל השערים ננעלו והסגירו, ותרעין דמעים לא הסגירו. So it says all the sharim of the tefillot are closed up.
This happened after the destruction of Beit HaMikdash.
Beit Sheni, yes. So it says all of them were closed except what?
Share Dima.
Now we're gonna find out why this statement is happened after destruction of second temple. It's gonna tell you why, right? טעם הדבר הוא כאחד שנכלל בית המקדש בטל ייחוד עליון, ננעלו שערי תפילתו שהם שערי מלכות. Right? So it says once the כי הלכה בגלות עם בני ישראל, אבל שהבינו לא נראה לפי שהוא לא היה בנכונות בפתקום שגם על ידי החורבן. להגיע עד בינה והם נשאר בפתוחים. So it says what happened, it says in time of Beit HaMikdash, there was the Yichud Elyon. What's a Yichud Elyon? Zerampim and Malchut, they were always Yichud. Yichud Elyon means they were always united. Because they were united, every time a person go to Yerushalayim to the Tefillah, his Tefillah would be accepted, you don't have to cry. Nothing. You pray now, when this connected with what we were mentioning about the Tikkun Racha and Tikkun Re'ah. Then what happened was when Beit HaMikdash got destroyed, right? Zerampim went up, and Malchut, which is a female counterpart, went to Galut Israel to protect the Jewish people. The whole reason that is here is protecting us. Okay, so there's a separation between Zerampim and Malchut. So then when you were praying, then those days. Our tefillah would go to Malchut, that was it. But Malchut is not there anymore to take our tefillah. So when you daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, where does it go? It goes to the Bina. Because Bina is higher, and that gate is not closed. Because the chisonim, the klipot, whatever, all those negative malachim that they are around, they cannot penetrate to Bina. They could penetrate to Malchut, but they cannot. So that's why, now that the Malchut is in Chutz La'aretz, in the Galut, right? Because of that, right? So our tefillah, where does it go? It goes to Bina. So Sha'arei Dema'ot Nunin Alu, that's Bina is because the Sha'arei where is it located? Is in Bina. So that's how it works. So even though so that's why Gemara says after Beit HaMikdash it was destroyed, right? Sha'arei Dema'ot Nunin Alu. Why is that? Why? How come the other Sha'arei were closed? Because the other Sha'arei were closed because they were related to Malchut. Malchut Galut, so they aren't closed up. The Daven doesn't go through. But for Bina, because the Ma'od which is Bina is there, that's why it's open. Say person prays with the crying, then his tefillah gets accepted. That's what it says, right? So it says, היה יכול בפגם שנגרם על ידי החורבן להגיע עד הבינה והם נשאר בפתוחים. So because the pigam, the blemish that was done because the Beit HaMikdash was only caused to Malchut, but not to Bina, because Bina was higher place in the spiritual place, and the pigam was not able to do any harm to it. לכן אי אפשר שייכנס שום תפילה ובקשה למעלה אם לא מי שישתתף עם שיער בגבו שכנו בבקי וכמוהו. So he says, no, there is another thing. This is exactly is connected with what Rabbi Matthew was saying earlier. So he says that the same concept of the Tikkun Rachel, that we have to cry, we have to show Sa'ar, we have to see Sa'ar Shekhinah, right? Not when you do that, when you cry to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have to have also in the back of your mind that help me out, and also think of the word Sa'ar Shekhinah gets out of the Galut. It's both. You have to have like a mutual understanding and feeling about it. That the feeling that he's crying is not just for him, right? And also his salvation should help the salvation of Shekhinah coming out of Galut. That's what he's saying. So you have to finish the both sides, right? ודלת דמעה אלא מגבול שער והסיבוב, ואין דמעה אלא מתוך שער והעצבות, and דמעה doesn't, the crying doesn't come unless a person is depressed or is in pain, right? וכל אינון דמאמין על אינון תרעים, וכל אלו המלאכים המונים על שער דמעות, כולם מתאבלים גזיזין ומנעולים, כולם שוברים כל כוחות הגסונים מרביקים, כל מנעולים שתיארים שתפקידו תבוא סליחה לעבור בהם. So he says, so they would be able to honor Christian, like everybody, unfortunately, unless the person is extremely pure spiritually and he has no sin, right? There's always certain kifrut on everybody. There's always kifrut means something that is like
persecution.
Persecuted angels that they are trying to tell him this person is not no magialo. It's not appropriate for him that his tefillah should get accepted, right? So he says when a person cries, right, all these maratim get pushed away. All of them get pushed away. But he has to have it back of his mind. He's crying he should do it for Sa'ar Shekhinah, because Maran with Yosef, Magid Mishneh told him that one time he told him, if you would know how much pain is Shekhinah, the Galut, you wouldn't be able to do anything, because the Sa'ar he has is a lot, because it's the Galut, and the reason he's the Galut is because to protect the Klal Yisrael. So we have a duty to basically do what? We have to sympathize with Shekhinah. So when we have our own Sa'ar, we should also have the Sa'ar of what? Shekhinah with Galut. And I remember one time was reading the book, I think it was around Rato Shirita, the Sa'ar, that he says that whenever in the Shemon Esrei, you should always when you say Shemon Esrei, we should have a kavanah that the Shekhinah goes back to its place. So I asked Rabbi Taneli, where is the best place to have this kavanah? What's the best place to go to Shemon Esrei? And he says, Hamachazir, Shekhinah Tov. So every time we say, Baruch Hashem, Hamachazir, Shekhinah Tov, we have in mind that Shekhinah should go back to Sion, and Sion refers to what? Yerushalayim.
One of the good things that we have is we have the Shem Yichud. Right. The Shem Yichud we mentioned.
Right.
The Shem Yichud Shabachu Shchintet Yachada.
Yes. But here, they said, Harav said in Shemon Esrei, he should have same thing. I think I read it from, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Al-Rata says that. The person in Shemon Esrei also should always have it, so that when a person says Shekhinah B'Shemon Zion, should think of how Shekhinah goes back there, and then once it goes back, we're going to have also a personal salvation. We're going to have it. I mean, mainly it comes from it. So that's how we should have it. Ve'alin inu dim'in dahu seluto ida'ah gamem ma'ikar al-yisha. Right? So, umachnesim oto ha'dema'ot oto ha'tefillah v'nechnes lefnei melech ha'kadosh shehu ha'bina. So he goes, the tefillah, where does he go? He goes further Bina. Right? So, Bina is, as we said before, all these tefillot, right? There are different stations of Shemayim. the tefillah goes up, right? There's another higher place than that too, arich. There's a place called arich, but in the local that's why it says a person should pray when he's not ra'ud, he should pray that his tefillah should make a chatira. There's a special prayer for people. You want to pray for people that do teshuvah. So Hakadosh Baruch Hu make a tunnel
under his
under his kisei kavod, right? That this person who does teshuvah. So they say, according to my understanding, that's arich. Arich is much higher than bina, right? So there are different stations in Shamayim that tefillah could go, and that's why they say here he says at least it goes to bina. So if it goes to bina, right, then his tefillah gets accepted, right? בדין אתה אילה דוחקו מהו אסיבו דוחקו דהו בנש. אז מקום ההוא שהוא סוד המלכות הבוחר תמיד והיא בלד דמעות והשאר אדם עולה אליה ויש לו דוחק באותו הזכות והדוחק של אדם ההוא בפני שכל איזה עניין וחסרון שבאדם הוא מסדר. Right? So he says that's a sort of malchut that is he's crying all the time, and then somebody, because according to what he's saying here, his malchut also is crying all the time because malchut is Shekinah and wants to go back. So if we do it similar to it, right, our tefillah goes up in that level and our prayer gets accepted. And then there's one thing I learned. Is there time for it to say it?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's one thing he says. I learned from Harav.
We have about 4 minutes.
Okay, Harav Nesach Masti Shelita, Hidrosh Koler, he has 3 Koler Israel. He told me this long time ago. There's a pasuk. He says, "Bechol Saratam Lo Sar." That's what he says here. That every sarah that you have, right? Hakadosh Baruch Hu, he sympathizes. He feels it also. So he said, if you want to, this is a formula he gave, and this is what Zohar says also. But he said more. He elaborated more on it. He said, if you want a prayer to get accepted, you should say, I know that b'chol saratam lo sar. Every sar that Christ has, you have a pain, right? Because you become, you share our pain. I don't want you have a sar, right? So in order you don't have a sar, please accept my prayer so I get out of this sar so you don't have the sar. That's what Harav Masih said. He was a scholar, and he said this works. This works. That the person should feel it that way. Again, I repeat myself. So he said, we said every day in Shaharit, B'chol saratam lo sar. There is a pasuk that says that Hakadosh Baruch Hu shared even the Rishaim, that there are Rishaim, Gemorim, right? He sympathizes and shares the pain. And he feels the pain, right? So he says, if that's the case, right, so a person should take advantage of this situation to take the ease of the Shekhinah by saying this way. So Ribbon Shalom, I am Besar, and because I'm Besar, you are Besar. In order to ease off the Besar from you, please accept my prayer, so I won't be Besar. If I'm not Besar, you won't be Besar. That's what he said. He invoked many times, especially if you do with the ma'ot. So that's what he says here. He says, Bechol saratam lo sar. Agrehu Rishon, Hare Sheikh Sa'ar, Gavoa Besar Adam HaTachton. That he has Sa'ar on Shemayim, for the people that they have Sa'ar Tachton, Bama Ki Ti'uf Dadahu Amma Idda'a Legabe Hayatah. תשוקתו של עולם העליון, שוב הבינון לשמוח את מלכות מסתמרות בשרעת השופך דמעה בתפילתו. So it's about that here is the key, the yearning of the Olam Elyon, which is referring to Binah, to make Malchut happy when he is with Sa'ar and his crying. So it means by by making a person responding favorably through Bina, responding favorably to the person, right? He's Mesamech also what Malchut, because it's a similar concept. He Mesamech Malchut, right? And when we share his pain, that's Shekha B'Sa'ar, and then we say with Aviyah B'Sa'ar, then the combination of this, Hashem wants to make or Ein Sof through Bina wants to make us happy, right? Make the Malchut happy. So by doing tefillah this way, right, the tefillah gets accepted. And this is something that can be done by everybody, but it just has to be, we have to practice it with Hashem. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here.